Morning, everybody. Hello, hello. It's Monday. It's Make It Monday time with 1 minute to spare. How's that sound? Let's just, we're going to wait a few minutes to see if anybody pops on and joins us today. Yep. So let's just all take a big deep breath and just relax. Let me turn the volume down on my phone. Let's just calm ourselves and let's just spend some time creating together. Okay, all right. So I hope you saw what I posted, what we are doing today. We're going to make some paper flowers, and it's relatively pretty simple, but there's lots of different ways we can modify and adapt the activity to make it successful for many of our folks. So without further ado, we're going to turn the camera down and let's start having some fun. Continuing our Flower Power series. All right? All right, so let me turn this down. Look at my fun, messy workspace. You guys let me know if you can't see when we're making stuff, because I can always put this, but then it kind of has this glare. So I think we can do just fine. It might be time for me to turn this around because it's cleaner over on the other side. And I just think, and I was even talking to a mentor yesterday, sometimes this makes wonderful art that we can use. Okay, so what I told you today, we were just going to make paper flowers. Okay, so what I did is I grabbed some paper, different colored paper, scrapbooking paper. You can use old painted papers. I even have some music sheets here that we might use. I also thought if you watched us making our cards, we had leftover paper from that we could use. So you really can use whatever you have. Old book papers, newspapers, whatever you think will work for you. Now what we don't, because to make these get all crinkly and stuff, we wet them a little bit. So if you have really old paper that's going to just fall apart, that might not be the best paper to use, but you can always give it a try and it might work pretty good. Okay, so let's see. And I'm hoping, just remember, if you watch the replay and you want to comment, make suggestions, interact with us that way, that is perfectly okay. We would love that. Let's get going. All right. Okay, Pam, take a break. Calm, relax. I had too many thoughts in my head at one time. Okay, let's start with one way to make our flowers. Okay. Now, I have all these different punches, okay, in the circular form. So I thought those might be kind of fun to do. So what I did is I cut them out using my paper cutters, shape cutters, into circles, and those are the ones that we're going to start with. Okay. And what is great about this is, as that OT, I love working on hand skills, and this is a great tool for hand strengthening, working lots of different ways, following directions, pushing hard enough. So this one you push. where this one you squeeze. So there's so many different kinds out there. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. There we go. I will show you how to use these. Okay, let's take this paper. Okay. And so all we do is we slide our paper in there and push. And out comes our paper. Now sometimes it gets stuck in there. Don't worry. It's okay. So there we have a circle. Let's do something in this one. Okay. So this is a squeeze one. And we squeeze. And then we have another circle. All right, let's see what we need. How about a green one? Let's just do this one in the green, just to have a variety. There's another one. And let's see what other color we have. Let's see what I got over here. We can even go back into the stash in the paper. Let's see if there's a grab. How about a blue? I haven't grabbed that one before yet. Okay, so let's do some blue. How many have done scrapbooking and you have lots of paper left over? This is a great way to use it. Alright, so I think we have several circles that we can use now. Okay, so let's move these out to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our, you can even squish them a little bit now if you wanted and crinkle them up to start the crinkle. Just be careful you don't rip it like Pam just did, but that's okay. They're all going to get wet and they're going to get smushed together. Let me know if you have any questions. It's springtime. We need some flowers. Not sure where you are, but I'm in Ohio, and it was so chilly over the weekend. Now, chilly in the spring is so different than cold and chilly in the winter, isn't it? But it's supposed to be nice now. So, it was in 30 degrees and kind of cloudy, but then the sun came out yesterday. Doesn't that make you feel so much better when the sun comes out? I think so too. At least for me anyway. All right, so now we're going to glue these together. So I'm going to take my biggest one and I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the middle. Now I'm using some tacky glue, but you could use a glue stick. And then these are about the same size, but I think I'm going to put them together. So I'm going to push down, and then I'm going to put another dab of glue in the center. And I'm going to put this one on top, just because. And then we're going to put a fun little circle in the middle. Now, we have so many choices, so we could ask our friends, which one do you want? Do you want the music one or the green one? And whichever one they would reach for or touch or tell you, green or music, then that's the one we would go for. We would let them have the opportunity to make some decisions, especially if they have some motor skills that might not enable them to really cut it out, or so they get to make the choice. And you might hear me say person-centered planning sometimes, or person-centered choices. And that's what we mean. We mean that they are engaged and interested in what we're doing. Okay, so there's one. We're going to put that aside for a minute so we let that dry a little bit. let's do another one. Let's start with that one. And let's put yellow. And then let's just put a blue in the middle. Okay? Does that sound good? Okay. There. There. Okay. I'm waiting a little bit so I can let the glue stick before I get it wet. Well, I see what happened. Well, we're just going to double this up because Pam had one stuck to the other one. We can do that. We can do that. All right, we got that over there. Let's start with this. Should we make one just out of music? Push. You know, and another thing is, I'm going to get another, let's put a green thing in the center. Just because. Okay, now, I push that down there. And we might want to ask our friend, can you push it down? And if they're having trouble and they like, oh, I don't want to touch the glue, then if you put your hand down and they put their hand down on top and push down, then they've done it, but they're not touching. You can put gloves on and stuff, but sometimes that's just the simpler way. And another option. Let's see. And I'm just using what I have right now. You can use whatever colors. So many choices. I say that a lot, I know, but I really want people to be able to make their own choices. Because what you have favorite colors, I have favorite colors, and our friends have favorite colors. And options. Do you want more than those layers? Because your flower could have several layers. And you could even cut out smaller shapes. You could trace out. You know, I use my shape cutter, but you could, let's see, well, let's just take this, because this is what I got here, close by. I could take this, and I could trace out a circle, and then you could cut it out, and we might even use this one to tear out, to rip, when we're doing that. Okay, so there's another one. Okay. See, you could just keep going and going and going. Let's see what color little ones we have. Here we don't have an orange one for this one. Okay, let's do one more of these. And if you do, you know, say that's the center, you could always put it on the back. That's okay too. Anybody got anything fun planned for your Monday? I'm not sure what the rest of my day is. Sometimes you just never know on a Monday. I know some of my friends had some fun things planned. Okay, so we're going to let that sit. Okay, so while we're letting those sit and dry, let's go on to another way to do it. Okay, so we have all these different papers. Okay, let's start with a big piece, a big square. Now, what I want you to think about is, let's try making this into a circle by tearing the paper. Round and around. Not too bad. Sometimes it looks a little more oblong, but we're going to go with it. Okay, so there's my big piece. Let's see. It's another big one. Yeah. Well, we could always make, you can use whatever and then just tear it down to size. Whatever sizes you'd like and how many layers you'd like. And for this, you know, I'm trying to make it into a circle as best I can. But it makes it a little more whimsical. We've talked a lot about that this month. And you could tear it from either the front of the paper or the back. And for some of our folks' visual skills, it might be easier one way or the other. Okay, 3. And let's do a yellow one for the center. Let's see if I find a small yellow. Okay. And you say, Pam, how did you get these all cut out? Well, you can cut them with scissors. You could fold the paper in half and keep folding till you get the sizes and shapes you want. Or you can use something like this, a paper cutter. Or like I was telling you about, you could take your paper, fold it, crease. You can then tear it out, fold it to get all the shapes you want. Okay, and even like that. And then you have your papers all cut in different sizes. There's no real exact. You want them probably more in squares than rectangles. Okay, that's my only suggestion. So I might take these and take my scissors and cut it down more to a square. There. That's really the shape we're going before we cut it out into the circle shape. Okay, should we make one more, the big one? These torn ones? Okay, I'm going to rip this one. One other thing is if you are working with a person and they're like, I'm not sure where to tear, remember, you can always draw a circle. And then they can follow along that pattern, that line. And just ripping it. And drawing that helps me too. Because I told you, sometimes mine look kind of a little too oblong. I need that little visual guidance and assistance. And that is just perfect. Okay, so it's a little wobbly, but that's okay. All right, so I have my bottom. Okay, let's maybe go with this one. Maybe let's draw a circle again. And you know, it doesn't have to be exactly on that line, but it gives you some direction on that. Got that. Let's go with an orange. And I'm just going to rip this one. If you guys come up with other ideas on how to make circles, share in the comments. That would be great. That one we're going to make a little bit smaller. because it was almost bigger than the one we had. Let's see if this will be okay. Yep. It's almost like I think we need one a little bit bigger for in here. Let's try this one. Let's tear it a little bit big, and we can always tear it down to fit what we want. Okay. Let's see. Should we make this one a little bit smaller? Let's give that a try. And you can always save the scraps of your paper. You can use it for something else. I just keep them in a little bag, or I have a box over there that I just have for my scraps. There. We're going to keep that one a little oblong. That's okay. Do we need a smaller one for our center? There. Let's do a small yellow. There. Okay, so let's glue these together. And just a little dab in the middle, because we want to be able to fluff up the blossoms. Sometimes the glue spreads a little, but that's okay. Just letting you know what I have found, but it's all okay. And see, some of this glue came through, so it's all right. We make do with whatever. This one's got more layers. Okay. See, I just have it. This helps me calm down or just get ready. Now see, this one had a lot of glue underneath. Let's take a little bit of that off. I had to thin my tacky glue out a little bit because it was so thick. So you can do that, but you gotta be careful, not too much water. All right, now that we've gotten all these, let me move these papers out of the way. Get all the ones that we're going to make. We have lots of flowers here, my friends. Okay, and I can put the top back on my glue. There we go. Sometimes it's hard to find that little hole. Okay, so you can smush them up a little bit if you want, and then we're going to wet them. See, these are still drying, but we can do it. Okay, I'm going to dampen these. I have a spray bottle with water. All right, and then we're just going to smush them. Look at that. Now, how many of you have folks that would love to do this? Maybe yourself. All right, so we're just going to squish them, let them dry a bit. I'm going to squish that in. Squish. Squish. And squish. Now, I have my dryer, and remember, I always tell you when I'm going to dry, because sometimes this is a noisy, and some of my friends have trouble with the sound. So I'm just going to dry these a little bit, and then we're going to maybe squish them even more. Okay, I see that I think we have a couple visitors. Let me know who's watching. What you think of this? All right, and then we're going to unfold it a bit. Now I see that this one ripped a bit, but that's okay. Or if you want to comment later, that's okay. All right. There's one. See how they turned out. You know, and this is just paper. If it didn't turn out the way you thought it would, or the way you like, it's just paper. You can do it again. Try again with another piece. I think I gotta let these dry a little bit more. This one's cool, guys. I like this. Now see, I gotta be very careful when I'm smushing, because I kind of ripped that one, but it adds a little more fun, I think. And I'll dry these even more in a minute after I open them up. Okay. There. See, our flowers are blossoming. Okay, I'm going to dry these a little bit more. So I'm going to turn the dryer on. All right. And you know, you might let them sit for a little bit to really dry, but we want that crinkled look. That's what we're going for today. Other times we might not want that crinkled look. So I'm just kind of, you can even squish them in more. Make them however you'd like. Okay, so if this bothered you, this rip, you can always glue, or we could tear this off a little bit. That be okay too? What do you think? That's your choice. Oh, that's got a little bit too much over there. I think. That's just my thought. There. Okay. Do you think they look like flowers? I think they're beautiful blossoms. beautiful blossoms. So let's see all the ones we've made here today. I think I'm going to leave that one all little wonky, little goofy. What your adjective would you use? Special, unique, all that in between? What do you think? All right, so how would you use these? I'm going to post that question in the Facebook group, but I'm going to show you one thing that I was thinking of doing in my journal. Because yesterday I wrote, I think I posted it. I posted the picture, I think, today. Because today's the 22nd. This was my entry for yesterday. And I wrote, see the growth. Okay. So I was thinking of putting one of these in here in my journal. Probably a small one. And just put that in there. Because I drew some other blossoms. So let's just do that. Let's put, I'm going to use the other tacky glue. I want to be a little thicker. Except it's not coming out because it's so thick. Let's see. Oh. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put it up here. You could use some hot glue if you wanted, with supervision. All this stuff is, remember what your level of expertise is, what your level of ability is, how much you need guidance and help. It's okay to ask. It's okay to say, that might not be for me. I'm like, even with the dryer, we gotta be careful if somebody doesn't want to get too close to this. Safety, safety, safety. Okay? So, just remember that. I want this. These are just ideas. This is not like Pam saying you have to do this way. These are just ideas. All right, so I have my flower in my journal. And my book will still close. My journals usually get pretty thick. Okay? So we have lots of fun pages. How many saw the other things that we did before? Yeah? All right. So here, I'll just set these down here so you can see. We made all these flowers. Torn. Look at all these. We have a garden. We have a garden, you guys. Wouldn't that be cool on a canvas? Wait a minute. I have this canvas right here. We could put flowers. Let's put these here. We could have our own little garden. Garden picture. What do you think? What do you think? Our own little garden picture. And you could put the ground down here and put some stems. I don't know, just a thought. Just a thought. And hang it up. There's always, I might do this and show you some other things that you can do. You can color the edges a little bit. You could use watercolor. You could use some inks that you can use to embellish. All different things. All different things. See how we come with one idea, one thought for the day, and it usually evolves into something else. And remember, my word for the year is enjoy. And so I just want to enjoy all this, all the beauty, all the fun, all the thinking, just all the things that go into doing an activity that might seem just so simple, but think of all the different steps that we had to do. And it can be a lot for some people, but if we break down the steps, then we can hopefully make it more manageable for all of us. All right, so let me bring my camera back up, And I want to thank you if you're watching. If you watch it on the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you like what you see, let others know. You can share it a bit. I would love that. And I hope I can see more of you next Monday. I will post what we're going to do and the materials that we need. And I think we have one more Monday in April, don't we? So one more Flower Power Make It Monday. I do believe we might make some simple cards using flowers. So we'll probably use a lot of these that we have left over, and we're going to decorate. And maybe, I was thinking we're going to take these and maybe put like a little button inside. So if you have any of those materials, hang on to them and bring them next Monday. All right? All right, guys. Have a great Monday. Have a good day. Have a good week. And we'll see you next time. Bye.